All right. It is Tuesday, December 16th. Welcome back to Damon Bruce. Plus, awesome to have you here. What a nice way to start the day when I see there's a new member right off the rip. The very first comment, Waffle Dog, welcome to the initiated. Thank you so much for supporting this channel. Like and subscribe. Oh, a membership is just taking it above and beyond. Thank you so very, very much. Merch available as you're looking for stocking stuffers. Oh, we got them in the store. We got them in the shop. Let me tell you where you can get the best sandwich you've ever had in your life. You can get that at Ike's, our title sponsor. Thanks so much to Ike's of Ike's Sandwiches for making it all happen for us here. Really, really appreciate everything he's done to help this channel grow and help your bellies grow with some of the best sandwiches in the world. If you don't live near an Ike's, hopefully you will soon. Just great stuff from my man. As always, sign up for that Love Rewards program. And right now, how about this? Use promo code TREAT between now and tomorrow, and you get a free dessert with any sandwich. A little Christmas present from our good friend Ike. Little Christmas present from Sleeper. How about a $100 deposit match up to $100 just by using promo code Damon? You can click on the link in the description of this very video that you're watching right now, and all good things will be happening over on Sleeper. Of course, be responsible when you're having some fun over there, but it is the best user interface, the single best pick'em payout. You're going to be able to build incredible returns. Go ahead and choose your own adventures over on Sleeper. You're going to find out why it's the world's fastest growing fantasy site out there and beyond. And thanks always to our friends at the Dubliner West Portal. It's the best Guinness pull in all of San Francisco. I got a little coffee here. Yeah, sip of the day. Fantastic. Go get the rest of the sips of this day at the Dubliner West Portal. You got a couple games for the Warriors coming up against the Suns. You're going to have a Monday Night Football game for the 49ers coming up. You're going to have Sharks hockey. Go Sharks. Coming up. Go watch it all at the Dubliner and tell Kenny and John I said hello when you get in there. Always great to see them. Always great to see you. Thank you for being back today. And speaking of, it's great to see. You know what I can see from here? I can see the driver's seat. And the 49ers are very close to getting into it. They really, truly are. The biggest month of 49ers football since 2023 is officially here. And it kind of begins on Thursday, because if Seattle beats the Rams on Thursday night and the Niners go 3-0, there is nothing else that can happen in the remaining teams all vying for playoff positioning in the NFC that would prevent the 49ers from being the number one overall seed. Now, I like the Niners on the road. I like the Niners I like the Niners at home. What I really like is a bye week for a team that always is recovering from an injury, right? Always. I mean, it's the whole season has been marked by in one day, out the next. Gone today, we won't see him again. That's the entire year for the 49ers so far. So if you're telling me that this team could catch another bye week before playing playoff games, forget about home field advantage. I really don't think that matters at all. It's the bye week that the one seed gets that I am thinking about with the Niners. And again, Rams lose in Seattle on Thursday, and that sounds like a big if. Rams, here's what's crazy. Seattle's actually favored in that game. Seattle definitely feels like it peaked about a month ago. Seattle hasn't played great in the last 3-4 weeks. The Rams just aren't stopping. You know, they look really, really good right now. But if Seattle, because things get weird on short turnarounds, I'm going to tell you, Sean McVay might be a little distracted this week. His wife just gave birth to a baby boy, and mazel tov for that. But maybe it distracts the coach a little bit this week. Quick turnaround this week. Anything can happen in a division game. You put that anything can happen in a division game on a Thursday night, and now it's anything can happen on steroids. So very interesting beginning of this final month for the 49ers in a game that they're not even playing on Thursday. And if the Seahawks win it and then the Niners actually win their next 3 games in a row, they're the 1 seed. Nothing left to discuss. There is no permutation. There is no, oh, but this team did that. No, the math is in the books if that were to play out. And again, that bye week sounds really, really good to me. You know, this team has done an incredible job of lurking. They've been lurking all season long, an A-plus job of lurking all season long, just hanging around, just hanging around, just hanging around. And for the first time, it feels like they might, at least offensively, have an ability to strike a little bit instead of just lurking in the reeds. So the Rams, by the way, talking about how weird things can get on a Thursday night, the Rams are hoping that Davante Adams plays on Thursday. This guy just tweaked his hammy last week, and I'm going to tell you right now, none chance. There's no way Davante Adams is playing on Thursday night, which makes Seattle maybe winning that game, I think, a little bit more doable. Davante Adams is having a monster year. 60 catches, 789 yards, and a league-leading 14 touchdowns this season. You take him out of the mix, well, that's one thing that could change what the Rams look and feel like. He tweaked his hamstring, and I think that's being friendly. He pulled his ham. I don't think that was a tweak. I think that's a hamstring pull. I don't know if Davante Adams is going to play until the playoffs. That's how much that looked like a legit hamstring pull. The Rams are trying to be coy about this, saying that they're going to do everything they can to put him back on the field. He didn't practice yesterday, and I doubt he practices today. And if he don't practice today, you're going to tell me that he's going to be ready to go in 48 hours with a hamstring that's keeping him out of practice? That ain't how hamstrings work. And let me tell you, it would also be pretty stupid of the Rams to risk a guy like that further injuring himself on a short turnaround. So that's another thing that the Niners kind of got going. A hamstring and a newborn. Niners will take it. Niners will take that. So it's great to have everybody in here. Thank you for being here today. As Red Jet is asking everyone, just smash that like button. That's it. That's all you got to do. Just tap that thumbs up. It is easy. It is effortless. It is free to do. No problems. We're on our way to 50,000 subs. Thank you so much for being a part of that. Let's see. Another thing that the 49ers got going for them. Again, this Colts team isn't exactly that scary Colts team from the beginning of the season. Phillip Rivers. Look, how sore is Phillip Rivers today? I bet you he's as sore on this Tuesday as he's been sore on any Tuesday in the last 4 or 5 years. So what is Phillip Rivers going to look like on a quick turnaround as the 49ers are getting ready for Monday Night Football? Again, what I really like, it's not just, all this, the stuff that's happening to Niners opponents. It's what the Niners are doing themselves. And that's Brock Purdy starting to play some really good football. And he is playing really good football right now. 23 of 30, 295 yards, 3 touchdowns, 7 carries, 44 yards, including a career high rush where he was putting a boogie on some guys. That was an awful lot of fun to watch, didn't you think? Oy, oy, oy! Postman, that one's for you. I see you're in here today. Season high, I'm going to round up here, 77 completion percentage. This is really, really good. Season high passer rating, 140 plus. This is really good. With Brock playing like that, even though that running game wasn't popping, guess what else happened? A season high 430 total yards. This offense is going to have to pick up the slack and then ask special teams to remain in a state of everything's going perfect over here. Eddie, hit your field goals. Either don't punt, which they didn't punt last week. That was fantastic. Or when they do punt, that thing gets off. It's not a bad return. Kick coverage is kept, kosher. Make sure special teams is working for you, not against you. Make sure your offense is pulling the Shanahan where you roll out of bed with 350-ish yards. Couple of touchdowns for McCaffrey. Juwan Jennings in the end zone. George Kittle is involved. Maybe Ricky Pearsall shows up. DeMarcus Robinson. Well, again, the Shanahan. Just give me what I can expect from a yardage, time of possession, scoreboard standpoint. Hopefully special teams helps you in all regards. And defense, just don't screw it up. It's bend, don't break. Expecting the 49ers defense to have a dominant quarter is pretty nuts. I'm not expecting them to have a dominant game. Just get off the field on third down whenever you got the chance to do that. Do it more often than not. I think you're going to be in games. You know, you want to sack the quarterback. I'll tell you what, I'll give you no sacks for the remainder of the year if you're telling me in the next 3 games the 49ers come away with 3 interceptions. Don't tell me that the only time you get an interception is with a pressure. No, quarterbacks throw bad balls all the time from clean pockets. When a ball hits you in the hands, you got to catch it on defense. And if the 49ers catch a couple of interceptions instead of dropping them, that's how they're going to get to the NFC Championship game. Nobody given an inch to the opponent. When they hand you an opportunity, you take it, you hold on to it, and you feel good about it. That's how the 49ers are going to reach the promised land if that is out there for them this year. And if we're being totally honest, that shouldn't even be in the realm of what we're talking about. Even with the lackluster schedule, this season should have caved in already on the San Francisco 49ers, but it has not. Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, and all the guys in the building who might not be Nick Bosa or Fred Warner, but are doing their damn well best to win these games and continue to do it more often than not. Well, it wasn't very impressive. I don't care. I just don't care. You know, if the season ended right now, today, the Rams would be number 1 with the bye. The 49ers are the 6th seed, though, and going to Philadelphia. I would like the 49ers going to Philadelphia right now. I would. I would like their chances to win that game. The Seahawks would be the 5. The Bucs would be the 4. The Packers would be the 7. The Bears would be the 2. Now, we're going to see the Packers and Bears play again this weekend. We're going to see the 49ers and Bears play. So what the Bears look like at the end of this year is going to be very, very interesting. Maybe they rise to the 1. Again, I would just love to see the 49ers be able to get that bye week. I could give a rip about home field advantage. 49ers are awesome on the road in terms of fans showing up, showing out. I know that'll be a little bit harder to do in playoff games, but I ain't sleeping on Niners fans, and you shouldn't either. We got a couple of supers in here today. I see a lot of names, by the way. The Regs are in here today. Good to see you all. Thanks so much for stopping on by. Bang, bang. Let's keep the faith. 49er game. Steve Sheridan, thank you so very much. Tucking it in the ganja jar, as is Fuji. So is Mendoza likely to join the Raiders or the Jets? Does he have any eligibility left? Can he come on back for one more? No, look, I don't know. I really don't know. If I were Mendoza, I think I would rather be a Raider only because A, I'm going to keep more of my money. B, the uniform is better. C, Tom Brady is a mentor that's sort of built into the equation, whether he can turn around the team or not. Having Tom Brady in your ear at the beginning of a career is something that any quarterback you'd think would want. Pete Carroll's going to be gone. They're going to have a new coach very soon. Maybe, what's that look like? I don't know. I would never want to be a New York Jet because you're just surrounded with a level of negativity that will take a good-natured kid like Mendoza and just crush him. Either way, you're in a bad situation. I'd rather my bad situation be in a tax-free state devoid of New York media. So if it's got to be Mendoza, look at it this way. If Mendoza is drafted by the New York Jets, I'm not getting a Mendoza jersey. If Mendoza is a Raider, I've never had a Raider jersey. I might get a Mendoza jersey. I mean, Raiders got great uniforms, period. Yeah, I'll take the state-free income tax and no New York media any day. Any day. Either way, you're in a bad situation. R.I.P. Coug. Damon, your Hoosiers undefeated number 1. Your Bears are a nice surprise. It's been a really good year for you. Tell me about it. I mean, I'm ready for the football world to crash in on me at any time now, considering, I cover the 49ers. I'm going to put them right in the middle of the equation as well. The Niners have absolutely outkicked their own expectations based on what has happened to them already this year. The Chicago Bears are officially, it's happening. Something better in Chicago is happening for the first time in a long time. And the Indiana Hoosiers are literally the darling of the college football world, getting 60-minute profiles done. There are Times Square billboards with Indiana football on them right now because they're honoring Mendoza's Heisman. It's crazy. Red Jet says, if you told me the Niners would be 10-4 with everything they've gone through to this point, I would say you're crazy, yet here we are. How about those Niners? Let's go. Exactly. I mean, I know that there are just people who are wired to be negative no matter what, how you can look at all of this from a bird's eye view and come away with a negative feeling about this team means you're just one of those glasses perpetually half empty, and that's the way you want it to stay. Why have I got grainy footage this morning? Why am I grainy? Am I grainy to you? God damn it. Got to restart that router. If Mac is traded, can the 49ers get second-round picks? I don't know if anyone's going to give a second-rounder for Mac. And I don't know if I'd be walking away from him, man. I mean, who better to dip in under center if something negative were to happen to Brock Purdy again next year? So, I wouldn't walk away from a really good backup quarterback. Those guys are worth their weight in gold, and he is under contract. So, I don't think I'm walking away from that. What I really hope is that Tatum Bethune's name comes off the injury report this week. I think that is going to help the 49ers get through this Colts game more than any other development that they could face before Monday Night Football. Tatum Bethune is a tackling machine. He's too young to even know what he's doing yet, but the guy is a tackling machine. I think that you're going to need that against Jonathan Taylor. So I hope he's back in the mix. And you know what I'm already preparing for? I am already preparing for a contingent of you. Maybe not the smart people in this chat room, but when we do a wake up and there's more folks from Kruger's side or there's just more people in here than usual when we, do a synced simulcast. Feels like more negativity comes in. But I know there's some of you that if the 49ers go and they beat the Colts, instead of being happy that they are one step closer to a 1 seed, there will be some of you who will say, well, it was Phillip Rivers, so that really doesn't count. Just like last week. Well, it was Cam Ward, so that really doesn't count. The win in Cleveland, it was Shador. Doesn't really count. The goalposts never stop moving on Shanahan, on Purdy, and on the 49ers themselves. The whole damn team has got a group of fans that are just dedicated to moving goalposts, no matter how well Eddie Piñeiro's kicking. This run defense is not the kind of run defense you want to bring into a postseason, but you got to dance with the girl that brung you, and these are the girls, So, I saw a tweet from Akash Enavaranthian, who is really good covering the 49ers, and he trying to find out why the 49ers run defense is just not where it needs to be, not where it should be. And we were just saying, Mykel Williams didn't have a great rookie year, but now that he's not there, sometimes you got to see a guy's absence to really measure their value. Akash ran some numbers here. With Mykel Williams on the field, the 49ers allowed a 3.99 yard per carry allowed. So under 4 yards per carry. Without Mykel Williams on the field, that number grows to 4.58 yards per carry. The run defense took a massive hit post Mykel Williams ACL tear. And there he is, setting that edge. The one thing we were told he was good at, and apparently the numbers bear, indeed, he was. So it's a shame that guy is out. Can the 49ers afford to pay Piñeiro next season? How about this? I don't think they can afford not to pay him. So yeah, he's got to be back, right? How about this from Frankie? D. Bruce, I used to listen to you on the AM dial on my way to school. Wishing you all the success, man. Well, thank you very, very much. I tell you, I really, really, really appreciate all of the love and support that people have given me. And it means the world. Thank you so much. I've been in a deeply appreciative mode lately. You know, you go to someone's funeral and it just puts your world back into perspective. And our friend Ernie, by the way, I have his program up here in the corner. This is Ernie in the red up here. And Ernie's going to stay there forever. I wish you were a little bit more in focus. As you can see, I need a better camera. But Ernie's going to be a part of the backdrop from here on out. I deeply appreciate it. Thank you so much. And please hit that like and subscribe button. I'd really appreciate that. Fuji, you're already being generous with the supers. Thank you so very much. Again, thanks to everyone. Yeah, he was only 47. It's way, way, way too early to go. 50K by the year's end. Hey, with a couple of really aggressive days, we could get there at the end of Monday Night Football. If people really want to start leaning in, we're about like 500, 600-ish away. I didn't see where we were this morning. I haven't looked. Smiley Dan, brother. You and I got to go out and share a beer. We got to tip one back for Ernie soon. What do we got here? Niner Gang. So you're saying Larry's listeners are not smart? What the fuck, Damon? No, I'm not saying that they're not smart. What I am saying is that is an angrier crowd over there. There's no doubt there is more anger expressed when I am co-streaming with Kruger than when I am without him. Don't put words in my mouth. You didn't hear me say anything about, by the way, my audience and Larry's audience is a shared audience. Have you seen all the year-end reviews? What are you listening to most on Spotify? What are you podcasting the most? What are you watching? It's amazing how often it's the Krug Show #1, D Bruce #2, or D Bruce #1, or Krug Show #2, or me and Larry in somebody's top 5. I don't think you can have one without the other. And I love broadcasting with Larry. So, same audience. It just feels meaner over there sometimes. It really does. By the way, it looks like the video is now cleared up. Oh, good. It's about damn time. It's really weird. I don't understand this damn thing. Anyway. Okay, so we move on. We move along. Fuji coming in again, off topic. Joe Burrow's post-game press conference was depressing. I don't think he's having an awful lot of fun. That's obvious. How could you? You're a Cincinnati Bengal. Like, you're set up to fail. You not only do you have to overcome the opponent, you have to overcome your own franchise at all times. But you know what? He gets paid a level of money where I really don't care if he's happy or sad. He's got a job to do. And Joe Burrow has not been a great quarterback lately. He really hasn't. Joe Burrow's reputation carries a lot more water than his stats do for him lately. So I don't want to hear a word out of Joe. Just go win. And by the way, I'm starting him in a fantasy. I'm in the Final Four. I'm in the conference championship game of my fantasy league, and I'm benching Stafford for Joe Burrow because I think Stafford on a short turnaround without Devondre Adams. I don't think Adams is going to play. I'm taking Joe Burrow and my fantasy shots with him. Michael Cervantes. Damon, you remind me of the radio host in Seabiscuit. Well, he was, God, who played him? William Macy? With Macy? Is that who played him? What's that guy's name? Either way, was it TikTok McLaughlin from the Crow's Nest here at the racetrack? It was TikTok McLaughlin, wasn't it? That guy used to have like the biggest radio show in the world. Horse racing was a really big deal. So thank you. I'll take it. I'm also freaking old now. So, by the way, Barry, who is undergoing a surgery soon, was wheeled in to the operating room and then told that the conditions in the operating room were less than optimal, so they postponed the surgery. I don't know what's going on there. Dude, can you vacuum seal your freaking Memphis hospitals here? How's it muggy in the damn hospital room? Either way, Barry, I've been thinking about you a lot. Jillian and I actually talked about it, and I said, my man Barry is in a Memphis hospital gown right now, and if he ain't naked in a gurney, he's wearing a D. Bruce Plus T-shirt. So gotta love that guy. Barry, feel better and feel better soon, man. Speedy, speedy recovery once you actually have that darn surgery. One more thing on just the status of where the Niners sit in the hierarchy of what we're looking at in this league right now. You know, I see the Niners moved up some completely meaningless power ranking this week in USA Today. Who gives a shit? You know, your power ranking is a fraud at this point because you're just painted into the corner if you have to include all the teams that are actually playoff eligible. Power ranking. It's ridiculous. How could you legitimately say, you know, anyone's number one? Again, if the Rams are definitely the far away, no doubt about it, number one team in all of football, how come the Seahawks are giving a point on Thursday night? This year's Super Bowl team, I'm going to tell you, will have nothing to apologize for. We'll be able to stand as tall and as high as any Super Bowl champion that has ever won a Super Bowl. But this year's Super Bowl team, I can promise you this, will not echo throughout football history. Greatness ain't out there this year. A pretty good team is going to win the Super Bowl. I've been saying that all year, and I do believe I will be proven right. We're about to crown one of the most pedestrian champions I think the NFL has ever known. Like whoever wins the Super Bowl this year would probably lose to peak Patrick Mahomes Chiefs teams. Whoever is in the Super Bowl this year would have probably lost their lives playing the 1985 Chicago Bears. The Niners dynasty, the Cowboys dynasty, the Patriots dynasty would trample over whoever is about to be the Super Bowl champions, including the 49ers if it's them. The Rams are really good. They're really good. They're balanced, but they're not special. They're not. They're not. The Rams are really good. Should the champ come out of the AFC, whether it be the Patriots or the Bills or the just turned it around before it got too late, Houston Texans, none of them will be in the pantheon of greatness. Now, maybe it would be like, oh, and the Patriots started something with Drake May, and this was that first step. But we'll wait until, you know, they repeat before we start saying that this is an all-time team. Get out of here. The reason why I like the Niners' chances is because of what they've been able to do and hold on to while everybody greased the skids, waiting for them to slip off. They've been holding on. And I'll tell you, they are absolutely, even in the state that they will be in the playoffs, as long as there's no major injury to Christian McCaffrey. I'll tell you what, as long as Brock Purdy, Christian McCaffrey, or Trent Williams doesn't go down, it almost doesn't even fucking matter who gets hurt. Like the rest of the year just got, those are the three guys who can, hopefully nobody else gets hurt. No, they really can't afford it. They're testing their depth chart as much as humanly possible. But it's like you got a few handful of guys on this team that are really, really good, and everyone else is just, you know, league average or around it. But this team is absolutely, thanks to its coaching staff, thanks to And you notice we still haven't seen like any razzle dazzle or fake. There is definitely a fake punt, a fake something. There is some special teams razzle dazzle that we haven't seen yet that I think we might. This team is going to have to steal a possession between now and the end of the road, wherever it ends. I do think so. So we'll see when that happens. Hopefully they don't have to show us anything in Indianapolis to get through that game. Maybe save that for the Bears game. Maybe save that for the Week 18 matchup of the Seahawks, if that is the X marks the spot of the entire year. This team is absolutely very well equipped to show up, have 2 or 3 game-deciding plays, tip in their favor, and what do you know? The Niners won. Were they really good today? Nah, not really. Were they wildly impressive? No. But what they do, they won. And there's been examples of that all season long. All of their losses have come to teams that are in the playoffs. They haven't lost to any dogs. And maybe the weight of real, healthy playoff teams will be what caves the 49ers season in. They weren't very impressive, but they won, is, I think, how we'll be describing the Super Bowl champion. So the 49ers already matched that profile. Not particularly impressive, but they win. We got Ryan saying Bosa Fred injuries could just be football injuries. On this team needs to pay attention in the offseason. No more ignorance. Too many seasons affected by it. I agree with you. The constant state of everybody hurt is a train you hope to have end. Because when it does end, the 49ers find themselves in very big games at the end of the year. That is a hallmark of Kyle Shanahan's teams. His healthy teams win NFC titles. Trying again in 2 weeks. Again, Barry, good luck, buddy. I'm ready. I'm ready for the biggest month of 49er football we've had since 2023, and I hope you are too. That's why I hope you lean in, hit like and subscribe. Look, we got nearly 200 people in here right now. How many likes have we got on this show right now? Not even 60 likes, and there's 195 of you watching on YouTube right now. Over 400 people watching across X and Twitch, which we stream on for some reason. I don't even know why, but we do. All right. Adam Schefter had something yesterday that we have talked about a few times this year, and it happened again. While the Titans were in Santa Clara losing to the 49ers on Sunday, and defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons was showing everyone why he's the one guy on Tennessee who's allowed to wear a red sleeves. By the way, you know you're the man on the defense when you're like, I'm wearing one color that none of you are allowed to wear. There was another Tennessee Titan who was wearing long sleeves, but those were blue sleeves. Only Simmons gets to wear the red because he's the man. Well, the man had his house broken into. Tennessee Titans defensive tackle Jeffrey Simmons' home was broken into while the team was in Santa Clara facing the 49ers on Sunday. This is happening, I don't want to say almost every week, but it feels like it happens almost every month. There is some NFL player who is at a stadium, and we all know, because we are all watching, that he ain't home, and their homes are getting broken into. I've said this on past live streams. I want to say it again. If I'm an agent, I'm having it written into my player's contract that the team pays for a game day security guard to be set up either at the end of the driveway or in the foyer of the home. Right in the front door, got a security guard there. Little visual deterrent. I'm telling you, a lot of these guys, right? A lot of these guys, especially someone who's been paid like Jeffrey Simmons, I bet you he lives somewhere in, so he plays for the Tennessee Titans, somewhere in Nashville, and on the outskirts of Nashville, I'm sure you have many lovely gated communities. A lot of these guys who are multimillionaire athletes already have a level of security in a gated community that clearly is not working for them. This is becoming a regular occurrence. It's common that this keeps on happening. I would have it written into my contract. And somebody said, oh, here it is right here. I don't even have to tell you that somebody said it. Somebody's saying it right now. Damon, they can pay for their own security. First of all, not if I'm your agent. Not if I'm your agent. I'm having that shit worked into the contract. That's a business expense. Let the business pick it up. What are you kidding me? You're telling me that you won't hire a security guard for a 6-7 hour window, which is drops in the bucket for an NFL team? Come on. We're talking about multi-billion-dollar franchises. Why do I got to tear into my contract to pay for this business expense? Let the team pick it up. Again, you don't want to negotiate with pretend agent Damon Bruce. I will pretend to put you over a barrel. SF Indigo's like, they can write it off on their own taxes. You know what's even better than that? To have someone pay for it. Have someone pay for it. Have the team pay for it. No, forget it. What would you rather have? You get to write this off as a business expense, or the team pick up the expense? We're talking about a multi-million-dollar contract. This is in between the margin number. This is a rounding error we're talking about, level of dollars. So just stop. Good God, you know what the team will say? No. Well, bad teams. I could see how incompetently, poorly run teams would say no, and very good teams that want to be free agent destinations will do all they can to put their players' minds at ease. We're going to go ahead and give you an extra layer of security on game day at your home. That sounds wonderful. I bet you that team gets a really good player evaluation in next year's team report card that the players' union puts forward publicly. Again, this is a minor expense. A minor expense that ups a player's loyalty. Every NFL team should want to incur that. Let me give you a little story here. I was watching an interview. It was a business interview, and they were talking to someone who ran pets.com. Or whatever. What is some pet food delivery service? What's the one thing all pets do? They eventually pass away. A lot of people get their food delivery services through like a pets.com or a chewy.com or whatever the service is, and they get that food delivered. A lot of people, once their pet passes away, that's a part of the family, and they're so, emotional or grief-stricken that they don't think, well, I got to go into, that account and cancel that bag of food. This happens so often that Chewy or whichever company did this decided, here's what we're going to do. Whenever that happens, and we get the email saying, sadly, my pet just passed away. What do? I just got this. I don't need food anymore. They credit back that person's account the money of that purchase. They encourage the person who got the food that they no longer need to like donate that food to an animal shelter or to do something with it. And then they send like a box of chocolates or a flower arrangement saying, we're so sorry that your pet passed away. Now, this is much like the security guard at the end of the driveway, what some would say is an unnecessary expense. So why do you do it? You know why you do it? Because the minute that company sends you flowers saying, sorry that your pet died, what are you going to do when you get that next pet? Nothing replaces dead dog better than new puppy. Chewy knows that. And you are, of course, going to give your loyalty back to the company that treated you right. That's the way I see this as an NFL expense. I mean, that's the way it should happen. That's smart. That's smart business. To invest in customer loyalty, or in the NFL's case, to invest in player loyalty, how could that ever blow up on your face? How could that ever work against you beyond its expense? The cost of goodwill is always worth it, because what you're then able to afford through goodwill with all involved, that goes to infinity. So for all of you cheap fucks in my comment section right now saying the team should pick this up, you're wrong. Or the player should pick this up. You're wrong. The team should absolutely do this. Absolutely. Oh, Michelle Haberman said, yeah, it's Chewy. They send you a painting of your pet if you put the pic in their profile. I mean, come on. How great is that? Lifetime customer loyalty. Now SF49 Brian said, just have those dogs be your security. Well, what if you got a Chihuahua? You know, that's not going to help. Look at Vince Vargas. Go Sparty, Vince. Pack of Chihuahuas will annoy the robbers and just drive them away. Again, you want pretend agent Damon Bruce to be your agent. We will not be defeated. By the way, lots of comments on yesterday's 11 a.m. Plus show, which was obviously themed around Steve Kerr losing his connectivity, which is one of his favorite words, with his own team. You know, the theme of basketball at all times, maybe even more than any other sport, is youth will be served. You know, I like an experienced major league veteran more than I usually like rookies. I'll take a player who's in the NFL on his second contract more than, you know, the shot on the rookie. In basketball, man, in basketball, you want to take your shots at rookies because youth will be served. There's no stopping it. Cooper Flagg served it up last night. When you do something that's never been done before in the NBA, we will talk about it. I don't care if you're a Dallas Maverick or not. This year's number one pick in the NBA draft became the first player in NBA history to score 42 points at the age of 18. Now, the Mavs blew that game, giving up 140 to the Utah Jazz, for God's sakes. But ESPN says Flagg, who's actually going to turn 19 on Sunday. This Sunday is Cooper Flagg's birthday. He also registered 7 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 blocks, and a steal at 42. The rookie forward is the third teenager in NBA history with at least 40 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists in the same game. The only other two are Kevin Durant and LeBron James. So Cooper Flagg already keeping some very impressive company in his rookie season. He's been playing really good basketball. I know that Cooper Flagg didn't burst out of the gate as a rookie. It took a little while. Again, for bigger guys, for low post players, there is a tougher acclimation to the NBA than guys who play on the wing or in the backcourt. You're down with the grown-ups when you are playing on that low block in the NBA. And Cooper Flagg is averaging nearly 26 points per game over his past 7 games. So he's coming. By the way, I looked this up since we were talking about it. How often do we get to bring Klay Thompson back into the fold? Klay, he only had 12 points as his career continues to be mired in what is the worst shooting percentage of his career. He is apparently very happy, though, with Megan Thee Stallion. The two of them are like putting out TikTok dance videos together. And I can't believe Klay is doing that. And that would be corny if your girlfriend, I guess, wasn't Megan Thee Stallion. Like she's allowed to do TikTok dances. That's her thing, right? By the way, the Warriors are at the Suns on Thursday. They then host the Suns on Saturday. Warriors got to win over the Suns back in November. So we'll see if they can do it again. Yeah, Warriors gave up on Ryan Rollins too soon. Who would have ever thought, right? Who would have ever thought? Klay is PW. Was that pussy whipped? Look at it this way. She sings songs about how good it is. So, okay. Are you ready for a little today in history? Today's a whopper of a day in history. Are you ready? I hope you are. Here we go. First of all, let's say thanks again to our good friend Ike of Ike Sandwiches for sponsoring everything we do here on Damon Brews Plus. Thanks to our friends at the Dubliner West Portal. Great place for you on Thursday night to watch Warriors and Suns. And thanks again to Sleeper. Really appreciate Sleeper for being a promo part of our sponsors all season long here in football. We start with happy birthdays, and we wish a very happy birthday to a guy I know is a big Niner fan and a Giants fan. I have met him at Giants World Series games. Happy birthday to San Francisco native Benjamin Bratt, 62 years old today. Happy birthday to a man whose career was launched into the stratosphere thanks to his appearances with Larry David on Curb Your Enthusiasm. Happy 60th birthday to comedian J.B. Smoove. And happy 44th birthday to Rich Paul. He runs Clutch Sports. This is a guy who, was in LeBron's inner circle and has done an awful lot since being in that position of negotiation. So happy birthday to all involved. Happy birthday to the last Mount Fuji eruption. So when Jillian and I were in Japan, we went from Tokyo, took the bullet train, the Shinkansen, the bullet train out to Kyoto, which was awesome. Absolutely awesome. You go past Mount Fuji. That thing's huge. Mount Fuji is really big. The last time Mount Fuji erupted was today in 1707. Let's hope that bad boy stays as dormant as humanly possible. Today in 1773, the Boston Tea Party happened in New Hampshire. No, I'm kidding. It was obviously Boston, Massachusetts. The colonialists dressed, they called themselves the Sons of Liberty. They dressed as Mohawk Indians. Wasn't the most politically correct of times, but they hit those British tea ships and they dumped 342 chests of tea into the Boston Harbor. Big day for America. Some other big things happened in America today. Like the 1811 earthquake. Do you realize that the biggest recorded earthquake in continental United States history happened in the Midwest? Today, in 1811, an 8.6 magnitude earthquake hit the United States. The area affected included Missouri, Arkansas, Illinois, Kentucky, Tennessee. They call it in the Midwest The day all the church bells rang, because the earth moved so much, shook so much, the church bells rang. There were no reported deaths. Doesn't mean people didn't die, but people, I don't think, reported shit like that back then. But the biggest recorded earthquake, an 8.6 shaker, today in 1811. Like, say your prayers and hope one of those never hits the Hayward Fault. My goodness, we would be in an awful lot of trouble here in the Bay Area. It seems like every single city, every big city in America has one great fire. It was the 1906 earthquake that caused San Francisco's Great Fire. And they knew that earthquakes would scare people away, so they called it the Great Fire. They're like, run with that as the headline. Call it the Great Fire. But the Great Fire was started by that earthquake. Chicago, obviously, has Mrs. O'Malley's cow starting the Great Chicago Fire. Well, today, in 1835, it was the Great Fire of New York City. Over 600 buildings were destroyed. I believe Donald Trump then said, well, now, thanks to that building being destroyed, I have the largest building in New York in 1830. Oh, no, excuse me, that was on 9/11. Oh. Speaking of real Americans and grit and shit that happened today in American history. Today in 1944, the Germans, the Nazis, staged their last great offensive of World War II. Hitler's army called it Operation Mist, in the Ardennes Forest. You and I know it as the Battle of the Bulge, if you're a history person, which obviously I am. The Bulge was the largest and single bloodiest battle that the U.S. fought in. Well, that wasn't D-Day. The Battle of the Bulge was the bloodiest battle in World War II. If you've ever seen the HBO documentary, it's like a documentary. It feels like it, but it's not. It's a series. Band of Brothers. When they're all dug into the forest in Bastogne, that's the Battle of the Bulge. That's the Battle of the Bulge. America would go on to win the Battle of the Bulge. And after that, the Nazis were in retreat. They never staged another offensive maneuver militarily in World War II after the Battle of the Bulge. This was the turning point of the Great War in America. W. Now, unfortunately, thanks to that president who was happy that people died on 9/11 so he could have the biggest building in downtown New York, he's doing everything he can to help bring those Nazis back, isn't he? Sure is. Stephen Miller is using straight up Nazi language when he speaks publicly. He is. It's not even coded. So fuck everyone involved in that. And if that drives you away from this channel, I am comfortable with it. Watch Band of Brothers on HBO. It's a phenomenal, phenomenal miniseries. We fast forward all the way to 1985. Paul Castellano. Boom. The boss of bosses in New York got today. Paul Castellano's murder was on the front page of every newspaper in New York City. Who did it? Who did it? Who did? John Gotti. This is how John Gotti consolidated power over the New York Cosa Nostra. Big day for the mob today in 1985. Big day for movies that defined the 80s today in 1988. Both Rain Man, great movie, and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels came out today in 1988. I saw both in the movie theaters. It's hysterical. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels is still A+. and Rain Man, just a great movie. It's when we realize, hey, Tom Cruise can actually act a little. He doesn't just run really fast like in every movie in the rain. By the way, speaking of cinematic masterpieces, today in 1994, Dumb and Dumber came out. So you're telling me there's a chance? Again, another movie that cannot be denied. I know that they're about to release the last one, right? Is this the last Avatar that's going to come out? But today, the Avatar franchise was officially released internationally. This is a movie that's made like $3 billion. I think it's the number one grossing film series of all time now, and it's about to print its own money again with another Avatar coming out again. I'm not really interested in it anymore. I liked Dances with Wolves with blue people in 3D. Great, yeah, but I don't need more Avatar in my life. Finally, today in 2010, with very narrow shoulders and suspenders, Larry King said goodbye forever. CNN's Larry King Live aired its last episode today in 2010. Bonsoir to Larry, who has left us a while ago. John says, don't beat me up, guys. Can you believe I've never watched Dirty Rotten Scoundrels? This is, again, John, you need to correct this. You do need to correct that. It is fantastic. Fantastic having you here today. Thank you so much for stopping on by. Let me let you know what is happening on Wednesday. On Wednesday, I have an appointment that I have to keep in the 11 o'clock hour. So we will not be live at 11 a.m. West Coast time tomorrow, but we will be releasing a video of me and Nick Wright. Nick Wright and I are taping a little something tomorrow. I'm going to have the video out for you tomorrow afternoon. And it's a perfect time to check in with Nick now that the Kansas City Chiefs dynasty is dead. Let's do a wellness check on Nick Wright. He'll be joining me tomorrow. That video will come out tomorrow. So please hit like and subscribe. Tap that notify button, and you won't miss a single thing that we do over here. I appreciate you thinking about being a member. We had a brand new one as the show started today. Thank you so very much again to... Where's my new member? Oh, it faded away because we actually started. I'm so sorry. Who's my new member here today? Is it over here? I'm sorry, it already expired on my timeline. But new member, whoever you are, I love you. Thank you very much. Thank you for being a member or just watching. Just tap that like, just tap that thumbs up, hit that subscribe, get us to 50,000. Let's go. Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning in. And please do remember that sports don't build character, they reveal it. And like that, he's gone.